So, we will explore what a constitutional remedy is, how it forms the backbone of the homeopathic treatment, and its significance in promoting holistic healing. So, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the importance of constitution in homeopathic consultation. So, watch this video till end for more knowledge and stay connected with us for more informative videos like this. So, let's start. So on the screen, you can see the basic topics that we will cover in this video. So today we will learn what exactly the constitution is, how does this concept evolve with time, how it develops in a person, its importance in medical practice, and various classification of the constitution and importance of constitution in homeopathy. So first of all, I would like to explain the meaning of constitution. So let's talk about it. So the constitution word is a Latin word which is a derivative of constitute, which means to set up or to make up or to establish. So it is the structure, composition, physical makeup or the nature of something consisting inherited qualities modified by the environment. Now next we'll talk about the definition of the constitution in homeopathy. So, constitution is defined as a physical and mental makeup of a person in homeopathy, which is expressed through his physical will, characteristics, desires, aversions, reactions, including emotional and intellectual attributes. Dr. Stuart Laws defines constitution as constitution is the aggregate of hereditary characters which is influenced more or less by the environment, which determines the individual's reaction, successful or unsuccessful to the stress of the environment. So, this is the exact meaning of the constitution in homeopathy. Now, we will talk about the broad classification of the constitution in homeopathic system of medicine. So, now we'll talk about the Dr. Edward von Grebel's classification of the constitution. So, he was actually a German homeopathic physician. In 1870s, he classified human constitution into three different types. On the screen, you can see three different types of constitutions in homeopathy. So, first constitution is carbonitrogenoid constitution, second is oxygenoid constitution, and third is hydrogenoid constitution. So, this classification is widely accepted as most of the homeopath, and this is based on different biochemical content of the body. According to Dr. Grebels, he believes that every living organism is made up of oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen and hydrogen. And the excess or the deficiency of these elements de- in the tissues development of the different individuals constitution. So let's explain it one by one. So first constitution we have is carbonitrogenoid constitution. So on the screen you can see the picture very clearly. How does the carbonitrogenoid constitution people looks like? So this type of constitution is caused by an excess of the carbon and the nitrogen. Now we'll talk about the pathophysiology of the carbonitrogenoid constitution. So, due to the excess of the carbon and the nitrogen, tissues cannot absorb sufficient oxygen, and insufficient oxygenation causes lack of nutrients, and which leads to the deficiency disorder. And this leads to the functional impairment. And at the same time, carbon nitrogenous matter accumulate and retention happens. Now let's talk about the physical features and the clinical features of carbonitrogenoid constitution. So first we'll talk about the physical features and later on we'll talk about the clinical features. So physical features of carbonitrogenoid constitutions are these patients have marked obesity, which is followed by weakness in later stages, which is called emaciation. Their skin is dirty and unhealthy, with very offensive perspiration. Their nails are dry, brittle, and often found longitudinally striated. Now, the clinical features of carbonitrogenoid constitution. So, first clinical feature is disturbed function of the mind and the bodily organs like heart, lungs, kidney, spleen, and stomach. Their pulse is rapid. Their respiratory, if we talk about the respiratory system, so their respiration is fast, shallow, and they are highly restless. And if we talk about the GIT, then they have the symptoms of flatulence, constipation, and diarrhea. And urinary symptoms, increased uric acid and oxalates in the urine, and there is a absence of the chlorides. And if we talk about the nervous system, so the clinical features are vertigo, ataxia, fatigue, yawning, and epilepsy, etc. And if we talk about the extremities, upper and the lower extremities, so the clinical features which can be seen in the carbonitrogenous constitutions are gouty swelling, inflammatory nodositis at the small joints. So basically, they are talking about the arthritis. And if we talk about the mind of carbonitrogenous patients, so they are mostly tired individuals. They have dullness, hypochondriac, irritable, and highly impatient. Okay. Now the modalities of carbonitrogenous constitution. So their condition is aggravated by anything that increases the use of energy, for example, overreacting, exertions, etc. Everything which increases aluminoids or hydrocarbons, and everything which increases the alkalinity and decreases the acidity in the body. And they feel better by rest, having sufficient sleep, and balanced diet. Now, what are the homeopathic medicines which comes under carbonitrogenous constitution? So they are arsenic album, calcarea phos, carbobage, hypersulf, iodum, lycopodium clavatum, natrum muriaticum, phosphorus, sulfur, zinc metallicum, etc. So they comes closer to this morbid constitution. And the carbonitrogenous constitution closely resembles the founder of the homeopathy, that is Dr. Hahnemann's Soric constitution. So this was all about the first constitution, that is carbonitrogenous constitution. Now we'll talk about the second constitution, that is oxygenoid constitution. Now, what is oxygenoid constitution? So, this type of constitution is caused by an excess of the oxygen in the bodily tissues. Let's talk about the pathophysiology of oxygenoid constitution. So, the excess of oxygen aggregates the breakdown of the hydrocarbons, nitrogenoid substances, and albumin compounds in tissues and bones. This rapid and incomplete breakdown disturbs the process of assimilation and growth, and the cells cannot retain the necessary constituents. This causes demineralization, means to deal with deficiency, and which ultimately leads to destruction of the tissues and the bone, and hence diminished resistance to the toxins and the poisons. So this is a complete pathophysiology of the oxygenoid constitution. Now we'll talk about the physical features and the clinical features of oxygenoid constitution. So first we'll talk about the physical feature. So their body is lean, thin, and weak, and they are prone to ulcerations and self-destructions. They are scrofulous. Now, what is the meaning of scrofulous? Scrofulous means enlarged gland and lymph nodes. They are rickety, anemic, and plethoric. Plethoric means they have access of the bodily fluids, just like obese person. If we talk about their hands, so they have fusiform with elegant and round fingers. And their nails are beautiful, mostly long, and sometimes numerous white spots can be seen on them. Now, the clinical features of oxygenoid constitution. So, first feature is nervous individual with the increased mental and the physical activities. Next, they are having vigorous appetite even during illness. Patient feel better after rest and after having food. They feel strong animal heat after meals and fever in the empty stomach. Now, what are the modalities? So, oxygenoid constitution patient feel worse by low altitude, empty stomach, change of the weather by cold, before and during storm, foggy weather, moving from dry to damp atmosphere. And such patients feel better by taking food by rest, in rain, in cold weather, and snowfall. Now, if we talk about the homeopathic medicine, so what are the homeopathic medicines which comes under oxygenoid constitution? So they are kali iode, creosotum, mercury, petroleum. Okay, so these are some closer remedies to this morbid state. An oxygenoid constitution is closely resembled to the Dr. Hahnemann's syphilitic constitution. So this was all about the second constitution, that is oxygenoid constitution. Now we'll talk about our last, that is third constitution, that is hydrogenoid constitution. So this type of constitution is caused by an excess of the hydrogen, which leads to retention of the water in the blood and the tissues. Now let's talk about the pathophysiology of hydrogenoid constitution. So most sodium ions are reabsorbed by the cell membrane and hydrogen ions are expelled into the filtrate. These hydrogens ion get combined with the bicarbonate ions and forms carbonic acid. And if this condition persists, so blood become acidic and leads to hydrogenoid constitution. Now next we'll talk about the physical features and the clinical features of hydrogenoid constitution. So first we'll talk about the physical features. So such patients are obese, round, short-limbed and swollen bodily appearance they have. Their hands are edematous, means they are swelled. They are cold and humid. Skin is clammy, means wet from sweating. And the clinical features are there is a slow intake of nutrients, puffiness and retention of the water in the bodily tissues. Symptoms get aggravated by everything which can increase the water molecules in the body, for example, bathing, eating seafoods, etc. The symptom shows periodicity, and the patient is easily prone to edema and anasarca. Anasarca means generally swelling. There is impaired renal functions. They're having complaints which are of benign type. Patient is indolent, means slothful. Apathetic means indifferent. They have lack of concern. They get easily fatigued and they are slow. Patient looks like having no life. And if we talk about the nervous affection, so they get aggravated by electric disturbances. Now let's talk about the modalities. So such type of persons feel aggravated, or they feel worse by bathing, eating seafood, eating vegetables which grow near the water or having high content of the water, and everything which decreases the alkalinity and increases the acidity of the body. So such patient feel worse by taking them. And hydrogenoid constitution person feel better in open air, warmth by movement and exposure to the dry atmosphere. So, what are the homeopathic medicine which comes under this constitution, that is hydrogenoid constitution? So, these homeopathic medicines are natrum sulfuricum, Thusa occidentalis, and pulsatilla. And Hahnemann's psychotic constitution closely resembles to this type of constitution. And not all the psychotic remedies are hydrogenoid type. Remember this. So, in conclusion, I want to say that the importance of constitution in homeopathy is paramount. It is a testament to a holistic and the individualized nature of this system of medicine. So, by treating the whole person, addressing underlying causes, and promoting overall well being, homeopathy plays a significant role in holistic healing and preventing care. So, if you find this video informative and enlightening, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future content. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay safe and stay healthy. And if you are suffering from any of the health illnesses, then you can see on the screen we have provided our contact number. So you can use this contact number for online appointments. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching this video.